Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we got Prestons C10 cab here in the booth still. Jason came in over the weekend, got the inside rust treated one more time, and finalized all the prep inside. Looked over the masking, made sure everything was good, got it cleaned, and we're ready to get it bedlined. Dylan has already got everything inside seam sealed and shot with some epoxy, and he's mixing up the black bed liner now to get this thing coated. Alrighty, so we got the inside of Prestons cab bed line. As soon as this thing is dry enough to get out of here, we'll get this out and get Larry's bed in here and get that thing cleaned up and masked so we can get some primer on it. Okay, so I got Larry's bed here in the booth. Next, I'll get this thing all masked up, cleaned, look it over really good, and then go mix up some primer and get this thing spot primed. Okay, we got Larry's truck cleaned up, masked up in the booth, ready for some spot primer. I will be using the 4:1 Evercoat Super Build like I always do. I've been using this up for almost 2 decades now. Very, very good stuff. I recommend this over the slick sand any day. This stuff is way more user friendly. And in Arizona, especially where it gets really, really hot in the summertime, this stuff isn't gonna lock up on you in your paint gun, and you can mix more than 1 cup of it at a time without it locking up on you in a mixing cup. This stuff right here mixes, sprays, very easy, and the build on it is just as good as the slick sand. And this has been my go-to primer, like I said, for, I don't know, at least 2 decades now. So I'm gonna mix some of this stuff up, get in the booth, and spot prime Larry's bed.
I've been in your waters.
Okay, we are almost ready to bedline. Dylan's out there masking up the other fender. Jason's masking up the other splash pan piece. And then we're gonna get everything cleaned up and bedline. Before we do that, I just want to talk quickly about this fine line you see here on the inside edge of the fender. What we do is we paint and wrap the paint around the edge first, and then we'll come back and we'll mask this fine line off. And then we'll bedline. When we unmask this, we'll have a clean edge of paint, and then you won't have bedliner looking all frayed along the edge of the panel here, especially on white. You really see that. So if anybody out there was curious as to why we do this, now you know. Okay, so Dylan stayed late, got everything for Preston's truck bedline. You can see what I was talking about with the fender, with the fine line wrapped around, with the paint rolling around. Makes a nice clean look. Under the cabs and bedline, so we're ready to get this thing down off the lift, bring it over into the stall quick so I can do a final polish on it, and then we'll be sending the cab next door today to Tray 5 so I can set it back on the chassis.